What about temperature regulation? Storm Eater asked, its massive form now positioned protectively near the younger students, without power to the thermal systems. Body heat, Maya replied. Humans generate significant thermal energy. In survival situations on Earth, close proximity conserves heat. She demonstrated by gathering the smaller species close. On Earth, we call this huddling. It's how many social mammals survive extreme cold. As they waited for rescue, Maya continued implementing survival techniques developed through thousands of years of human experience with disasters. She organized water rationing, established a rotating rest schedule to conserve energy, and maintained a calm, authoritative presence that kept panic at bay. Hours passed. Through the viewport, they could see emergency teams working to restore the Academy systems. Finally, the airlock cycled, and rescue personnel entered their sector. As they were led to safety, Maya noticed a profound change in how her classmates regarded her. The fear was still there, perhaps even intensified, but now mixed with something new: respect. 2 days later, repairs to the Academy were nearly complete. Students gathered in the communal area, processing their experiences during the emergency. Maya sat with Trillax, and, surprisingly, Storm Eater had joined them. The emergency response team said we would not have survived without your intervention, Storm Eater stated, mandibles clicking thoughtfully. They were impressed by human crisis management. Maya shrugged. Earth has a long history of disasters. We've had time to develop protocols. But it wasn't just your knowledge, Trillax interjected, neural patterns pulsing with intensity. It was your calmness. You treated a life-threatening emergency as if it were a minor inconvenience. That's because, by Earth standards, it was, Maya admitted. No fire, no toxic gas, no predators, no extreme temperatures, just a simple air shortage and gravity failure. Storm Eater made a sound that Maya's translator couldn't interpret. You are joking, but I suspect you are also serious. Both, Maya confirmed with a smile. Humans often use humor to cope with stress. Another adaptation. Professor Zexteller approached their table, his gelatinous form moving with deliberate grace. Maya Chen, he greeted formally. The Academy Board has reviewed the emergency incident. Your actions have been noted in the official record. Maya nodded, unsure where this was going. Additionally, the professor continued, I've received 17 requests from students wishing to enroll in a new course, Human Survival Strategies. The board has approved it as an elective, with you as a teaching assistant. Maya blinked in surprise. Me? Teaching? Who better to explain human adaptations than a human? The professor's bioluminescent patterns shifted in what Maya had learned to recognize as amusement. Your presentation may have frightened your classmates, but the emergency demonstrated the practical value of your species' evolutionary history. As Professor Zexteller departed, Trillax's skin rippled with curiosity. Will you accept the position? Maya looked around at her fellow students. Beings from across the galaxy, each evolved for different environments, different challenges. For the first time since arriving at the Academy, she felt not like an outsider, but like someone with valuable knowledge to share. Yes, she decided. I think I will. Storm Eater's massive clawed hand came to rest carefully on the table. I would enroll in such a course. Your Deathworld has produced remarkable adaptations. Earth isn't special in that regard, Maya replied. Every world shapes its inhabitants. Yours made you incredibly resilient to atmospheric pressure changes. Without that adaptation, you wouldn't have survived yesterday. Perhaps, Storm Eater conceded, but your world seems to have prepared humans for everything. Maya laughed. Hardly. There's a reason we develop technology so rapidly. Without it, Earth would have killed us long ago. As their conversation continued, Maya realized something profound had changed. Her classmates no longer feared her because she came from a death world. They respected her for it. They understood now that human adaptability wasn't threatening. It was necessary. Earth's harsh conditions hadn't made humans into monsters. They had forged them into survivors. And in a dangerous universe, survival skills were the most valuable currency of all. The classification remained. Earth was still a death world. But now, for the students of the Galactic Academy, that term carried new meaning. It was not just a warning label, but a mark of respect for the species that had not merely survived such a crucible, but had emerged from it ready to reach for the stars. "Everyone stay close to the walls," she shouted, her voice cutting through the panic. "If gravity fails completely, you'll need handholds." The students looked at her with surprise, unused to hearing authoritative commands from the supposedly fragile human. But something in her tone, the absolute certainty, made them comply. Maya moved quickly to Trillax, who was struggling to coordinate the movement of their multiple appendages in the diminishing gravity. "Here," she said, offering her shoulder for support. "Lean on me." "We'll slow you down," Trillax protested, neural patterns flashing with concern. "Humans are load-bearing," Maya replied with a grim smile. "It's what we do." They joined the stream of students pouring into the corridor. Emergency lights cast everything in a pulsing crimson glow. Already, the effects of decompression were becoming apparent. The Krithna's breathing had become labored, their high oxygen requirements making them especially vulnerable. The Voltaxian's crystalline structure seemed to be expanding slightly as internal gas pockets responded to the pressure change. Halfway down the corridor, disaster struck. With a screech of tearing metal, a section of the ceiling collapsed, blocking their path forward and severing the power conduits to the remaining lights. In an instant, they were plunged into near-total darkness. Someone screamed. Someone else began a religious invocation. Maya heard the distinctive sound of a Drokar preparing for battle, its exoskeleton plates shifting into defensive configuration. "Everyone stop," she commanded. "Don't move." Again, her tone cut through the panic. In the dim emergency backup lighting, she could see the fear in her classmates' alien features. "The path is blocked." Professor Zextheller stated the obvious, his voice modulator struggling in the thinning atmosphere. "We must find another route to Sector 8. "The maintenance tunnels," Maya suggested. "Every habitat section has service tunnels for the environmental systems." "Those would be too narrow for some species," the professor objected, glancing at Storm Eater's massive form. Maya thought quickly. Earth history was filled with disaster scenarios, and humans had developed protocols for each one. "Then we need to seal this section and restore life support manually." "Professor, where are the emergency systems located?" The professor hesitated only briefly before responding. "Environmental control is at the center of each sector, but without power." "Emergency backup generators," Maya interrupted. "Standard engineering practice puts them near critical systems." She was already moving, scanning the walls for access panels. When she found one, she pried it open with surprising strength, revealing a complex array of alien technology. The Voltaxian student drifted closer, its crystalline form glowing faintly in the darkness. "I recognize this configuration," it said. "My species design much of the Academy's power distribution systems. Can you reroute emergency power to the environmental controls?" Maya asked. "Theoretically, yes, but—" "Do it," she interrupted. "The rest of us will find the environmental center." With newfound purpose, the group moved through the darkened corridor. Maya noticed that the aliens were watching her closely now, following her lead without question. The human who had seemed so fragile just minutes ago was now coordinating their survival with practiced efficiency. They found the environmental control center, a circular room filled with complex machinery. Maya immediately recognized the life support systems from her pre-academy training. "The atmospheric regulators are offline," she observed, "and the pressure seals between sectors have activated, which means we're isolated until rescue arrives." "How long can we survive?" one of the Krithna asked, voice trembling. Maya calculated quickly. "The remaining oxygen will last approximately 30 minutes at current consumption rates. Less if we panic." She turned to the professor. We need to activate the emergency oxygen reserves and manually restart the air circulation system. Professor Zexteller moved to a control panel. The reserve tanks are sealed with mechanical locks as a failsafe, without proper tools. Without hesitation, Maya moved to the panel he indicated, examined the lock mechanism, then slammed her fist into it with precise force. The metal bent, and with a second blow, the panel popped open. The alien stared in shock. Human bones have high compressive strength, Maya explained matter-of-factly, ignoring the pain in her hand. Now help me with these valves. Together, they activated the reserve oxygen system. Slowly, the hissing sound of gas entering the room gave everyone hope. Maya directed the phylloxians to distribute breathing masks designed for oxygen-dependent species, ensuring the Krithna received them first. Maya nodded, advancing the display once more. This is caffeine, a neurotoxin that plants evolved to kill insects. Humans drink it daily for mild stimulation. She showed images of coffee cultivation and consumption. This is capsaicin, a chemical compound plants develop to prevent mammals from eating their seeds. We add it to food for pleasure. Images of chili peppers and spicy dishes appeared. And perhaps most surprisingly, ethanol. Maya displayed the fermentation process, a substance toxic to cellular function that humans have consumed in various forms for thousands of years, both medicinally and recreationally. The classroom had grown uncomfortably quiet. Maya could sense the shift in atmosphere, from skepticism to unease. She continued with the most impressive human adaptation. But perhaps our most remarkable trait is our ability to recover from injury. The display showed medical images, bones knitting back together after breaks, skin healing after massive trauma, surgical procedures that would seem like torture to most species. Humans can survive the loss of limbs, removal of numerous internal organs, significant blood loss, and extensive tissue damage. Our bodies can recover from injuries that would be fatal to many species. Storm Eater clicked its mandibles again. You speak of these horrors as if they are commonplace. For humans, they are, Maya replied simply. Every human in this room has likely experienced broken bones, significant viral infections, bacterial diseases, extreme temperature variations, and exposure to natural toxins, and survived. It's part of growing up on Earth. A phylloxian student raised a tentative appendage. Is it true that human bones will heal stronger at the breaking point? Yes, Maya confirmed. The collagen matrix in our bones rebuilds with greater density at fracture sites. And your skin, it constantly sheds and replaces itself, approximately every 27 days. Yes. And your immune system actively seeks out and destroys invaders. That's correct. Human immune responses involve specialized cells that hunt down and consume pathogens. The questions continued, each answer seemingly more disturbing to her classmates than the last. Maya realized that what seemed normal to her, Earth's dangers and human adaptations, represented a nightmare scenario for species evolved in more stable environments. As she concluded her presentation, Maya sensed she might have gone too far. Her classmates now stared at her with what could only be described as horror. To summarize, she said, trying to soften her earlier statements, Earth is classified as a death world, not because everything on it is constantly trying to kill you, but because it presents consistent survival challenges that have shaped human evolution. We're not inherently dangerous. We're just adapted to a world that is. The silence that followed was profound. Even Professor Zexteller seemed at a loss for words. Then the emergency alarms began to blare. Survivors. Red emergency lights pulsed throughout the classroom as a computerized voice echoed through the academy. Warning! Critical systems failure DETCTED. Habitat ring structural integrity compromised. All personnel evacuate to emergencies. HLTRS INMEDIATOI. Professor Zexaller's gelatinous form convulsed with alarm patterns. Everyone remain calm. Proceed to the nearest emergency transport as instructed in your orientation. The classroom erupted into chaos. The Krithna students bounded toward the exit in panic, nearly trampling the slower philoxens. The Voltaxian crystalline student vibrated with such intensity that small fractures appeared across its surface. Maya's mind raced through emergency protocols she had memorized upon arrival. The Academy's habitat ring was segmented into 12 sections, each with independent life support systems. If one section failed, the others would automatically seal off to prevent cascade failure. "What's happening?" she asked, approaching Professor Zexthaler. "Micrometeoroid impact, most likely," the professor replied, his usual formal cadence replaced with clipped tones. "The Academy's orbit takes us through a debris field once every 4.3 cycles. The shields should have." Another alarm blared, cutting him off. "Warning! Atmospheric decavalment in CEC2R CVN. Oxygen level is critical. Gravity systems failing. Sector 7. Their current location. Maya felt a cold certainty settle in her stomach. The instincts honed by millions of years of evolution on a Deathworld kicked in, focusing her mind with crystalline clarity. "Professor, how far to the nearest emergency shelter?" she asked. 200 meters, through the connecting corridor to Sector 8, he replied, already guiding students toward the exit. Maya glanced at the environmental display near the door. Oxygen was depleting rapidly, pressure dropping. And worse, the gravity generators were fluctuating wildly as power systems failed. Professor Zexthaler's gelatinous form rippled with interest as he settled at the back of the classroom. The other students leaned forward, curiosity overcoming their usual wariness of the human. "Let's start with basics," Maya continued. "Earth's gravity is 9.8 meters per second squared, making it one of the higher gravity worlds inhabited by sentient life. Our atmosphere is primarily nitrogen and oxygen, the latter being highly reactive and capable of supporting rapid combustion." The hologram zoomed in to display Earth's atmospheric composition. Several gasps echoed through the classroom. "You breathe oxidizers?" asked one of the Krithna, its fur bristling with alarm. "Yes," Maya confirmed. "In fact, humans require constant exposure to oxygen. Without it, we die within minutes." A murmur of disbelief rippled through the audience. Breathing corrosive gas seemed inconceivable to most species evolved in more stable environments. "Our world is over 70% covered by water, mostly saltwater oceans with complex currents and massive tidal forces." The hologram shifted to show Earth's oceans, zooming in on a hurricane swirling over the Atlantic. "These are common weather formations called hurricanes, massive storm systems with wind speeds exceeding 240 kilometers per hour." The Voltaxian crystalline student chimed in. "Such atmospheric disturbances would shatter my people's settlements." "They often destroy ours as well," Maya admitted. "We simply rebuild." She advanced the display to show Earth's tectonic activity. "Our planet's crust is divided into plates that constantly move, causing earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and tsunami waves that can reach heights of 30 meters. The display demonstrated a simulation of the 2011 Tohoku earthquake and tsunami. The alien students watched in stunned silence as entire coastal cities were engulfed. "This single event killed nearly 20,000 humans," Maya stated matter-of-factly. "It's considered a significant disaster, but not an extinction-level event." Storm Eater, the massive Drokar, clicked its mandibles. "Your species considers the destruction of multiple settlements and thousands of deaths routine." "Not routine," Maya corrected, "but within the parameters of survivable disasters. Earth experiences these events regularly throughout its history." She moved on to Earth's biodiversity, starting with microscopic threats. "These are bacteria and viruses, microscopic organisms that can cause disease. Despite our advanced medicine, new pathogens constantly evolve, resulting in pandemics that can kill millions. The display shifted to larger predators. Earth evolved numerous apex predators across various ecosystems. Great white sharks in our oceans. The hologram displayed footage of a massive shark breaching the water to capture a seal. Tigers in our jungles. A Bengal tiger was shown taking down a deer with lightning speed. And bears in our forests. A grizzly bear stood on its hind legs, towering at nearly 3 meters tall. Humans coexisted with these predators for most of our evolutionary history, often competing for the same resources. Trilex's translucent skin pulsed with neural activity. How did your species survive without natural defenses? You have no claws, no venom, no protective exoskeleton. Maya smiled. That's where human adaptability comes in. We developed something more valuable than physical weapons: intelligence and endurance. She displayed images of early human hunters. For hundreds of thousands of years, humans hunted using a method called persistence hunting. We tracked prey for hours or even days, pursuing animals that could outrun us in a sprint but couldn't match our long-term endurance. Impossible, one student muttered. I assure you it's not, Maya replied. Humans evolved specific adaptations for this purpose: efficient bipedal locomotion, exceptional thermal regulation through sweating, and crucially, the cognitive ability to track prey over vast distances. She advanced the display to show human environmental adaptations. My species has settled every environment on Earth, from equatorial jungles to Arctic tundra, from mountain peaks to desert wastelands. The hologram showed humans living in the Sahara Desert, in Siberia, in the high Andes, and in the Amazon rainforest. In temperatures ranging from 50 degrees Celsius to -50, humans have found ways to survive and thrive. We've adapted culturally where we couldn't adapt biologically. Professor Zexhaller's voice resonated from the back. And what of your relationship with toxic substances? There are reports that humans regularly consume compounds that would kill other species. Trilex's nervous system flared with activity. That your world is constantly torn by massive storms, that your oceans are filled with venomous predators, that your land is riddled with tectonic instability causing regular catastrophic events, that your atmosphere itself can sometimes be toxic or flammable. The alien paused. And that humans evolved to survive all this. Maya considered this. Some of that is exaggerated, but not entirely wrong. Is it true that humans can survive losing entire limbs? That your bodies can repair massive tissue damage? That you can ingest substances toxic to most sentient life without harm? Under certain circumstances, yes, Maya replied, taking a bite of her protein pack. Human medicine has advanced significantly, and our bodies are fairly resilient. Trilex's skin pulsed with a pattern that Maya's translator interpreted as nervousness. And is it true that humans are the only known species to have evolved as pursuit predators? Maya paused mid-bite. Pursuit predators. Species that hunt by chasing prey to exhaustion. Most predator species in the galaxy are ambush hunters or scavengers. The concept of following prey for days until it collapses from fatigue is disturbing to many. Maya smiled slightly. Well, we don't do much of that anymore. Though ultramarathons remain a popular sport. Trilex's skin flashed with alarm patterns. You run to exhaustion, for entertainment. Some do, yes. The alien fell silent, contemplating this information. Then, with visible effort, would you explain more about Earth for my presentation research? My homeworld has very few environmental hazards, and I need more material. Maya grinned. I'd be happy to. And perhaps you could tell me about your world too. It was the beginning of an unlikely friendship, and perhaps a bridge between worlds. The next several days passed in a flurry of research and preparation. Maya divided her time between classwork, exploring the Academy's vast archives on galactic ecology, and gathering data for her presentation. She also spent more time with Trilex, their initial wariness evolving into genuine scientific curiosity. In the simulation chamber, Maya watched as her classmates tested their presentations. The Voltaxian demonstrated the crystalline predators of their homeworld, beautiful but lethal creatures that could shatter to release clouds of paralytic dust. The Krithna showed footage of the massive herbivores that dominated their world's plains, creatures so large they had no natural predators. But it was the Drokar's presentation that truly captured everyone's attention. Its homeworld, Kardros, was a gas giant with floating islands of solidified hydrocarbons. The atmosphere was toxic to most species, and electrical storms regularly swept across the planet's upper atmosphere with enough power to incinerate small spacecraft. Impressive, Maya commented as the Drokar, whose name was roughly translated as Storm Eater, concluded its presentation. Storm Eater turned its armored head toward her. Your world is classified as more dangerous than mine, small human. I am curious to see your presentation. The comment wasn't exactly friendly, but it wasn't hostile either. Progress, Maya thought. I hope I don't disappoint, she replied. As Maya finalized her presentation that night, she faced a dilemma. Should she downplay Earth's dangers to make humans seem less threatening? Or should she embrace the truth, however startling it might be to her classmates? In the end, she chose honesty. If the species of the galaxy were to truly understand humanity, they needed to understand the crucible that had forged them. The day of presentations arrived. One by one, students displayed the hazards of their homeworlds. Some were genuinely dangerous. Radiation zones, caustic atmospheres, extreme temperatures. Others seemed almost comical by Earth standards. Predators that Maya recognized as similar to squirrels or birds, weather patterns that humans would consider mild spring showers. Finally, it was Maya's turn. She stepped to the front of the classroom, activated her data terminal, and took a deep breath. Earth, she began, has been classified as a Class 12 Deathworld. Today, I'm going to show you why. The truth revealed. Earth exists in what astrobiologists call the volatile zone. Maya began, activating the holographic display. A realistic model of Earth materialized before the class, slowly rotating to reveal its blue and green surface. Our planet features extreme environmental variations, active geological processes, and complex ecosystems filled with predator-prey relationships. Alien students finally learn why Earth is a death world, and their terrified first contact. The Galactic Academy of Xenosciences hung suspended in the void between star systems, a gleaming testament to interstellar cooperation. Its segmented rings rotated slowly, generating artificial gravity for the thousands of students who called it home. Inside the central hub, in classroom Delta 7, Professor Zexthaler activated the environmental controls, adjusting the atmosphere to accommodate the diverse biology of his students. Attention, class. Zexthaler's voice boomed through his vocal amplifier. His gelatinous form shimmered with bioluminescent patterns, the Qualathi equivalent of facial expressions. Today we welcome a new student, the first of her kind to join our academy. The classroom door slid open, and a collective gasp rippled through the assembled aliens. The newcomer was small, unassuming, covered in strange, soft-looking external tissue instead of proper exoskeleton or scales. 2 legs, 2 arms, no visible defensive appendages. Her mouth lacked proper fangs, and her fingers ended in flat, useless nails rather than claws. This is Maya Chen, our first human exchange student from Earth. A wave of whispers swept across the room. Earth, the mysterious death world that had only recently joined the Galactic Confederation. Most species knew little about humans except for the warnings. Approach with caution, extremely adaptable, surprisingly durable. Many doubted the classification. How could such a fragile-looking species possibly evolve on a death world? Maya scanned the room, cataloging the various alien species with scientific precision. A Voltraxian with its crystalline exoskeleton, shimmering under the lights. 3 Krithna students, their furred bodies supported by powerful hind legs. A cluster of Philoxians, their collective consciousness linked through tendrils of psionic energy. and in the back corner, a massive drokar, its armored carapace scarred from some ancient battle. "Pleased to meet you all," Maya said, her universal translator converting her words into the standard galactic pidgin. "I look forward to learning alongside you." Professor Zexthaler directed her to an empty seat beside Trillax, a Philoxian whose translucent skin revealed the pulsing nervous system beneath. Maya noticed how Trillax subtly shifted away, maintaining an extra few centimeters of distance. "As you all know," the professor continued, "your final assignment of this cycle will focus on xenocology. Each of you will prepare a comprehensive presentation on the environmental challenges of your homeworld, with particular attention to predators, climate extremes, and geological hazards." Maya felt the weight of stares from across the classroom. Earth's reputation preceded her, a planet classified as a Class 12 Deathworld, a designation shared by fewer than 0.03% of inhabited planets in the known galaxy. "You have one standard week to prepare. I expect detailed analysis, visual components, and evolutionary context for how your species adapted to these challenges." The assignment was clearly designed to foster understanding among species, but Maya sensed an opportunity. If her classmates feared humans because of misconceptions about Earth, perhaps this was her chance to explain. In the Academy's communal dining hall, Maya sat alone. She had selected a standard protein pack from the synthesizer, something designed to meet human nutritional needs without causing discomfort to other species with their more sensitive olfactory systems. Despite her isolation, she observed her classmates with keen interest. The Voltaxians extracted nutrients directly from mineral solutions, their crystalline bodies glowing with vibrant energy. The Krithna consumed raw vegetation, their specialized digestive systems breaking down cellulose efficiently. And the Drokar, Maya watched with fascination as it devoured alive, squirming something that resembled an earth centipede, but was at least 30 centimeters long. "Mind if I join you?" Maya looked up to find Trillax hovering nearby, food tray in hand. "Please," Maya gestured to the empty seat. Trillax settled delicately into the chair. Up close, Maya could see the complex network of neurons firing beneath the alien's transparent skin. Fascinating. "I apologize for my reaction in class," Trillax said. "It's just, we've heard stories about Earth." "What kind of stories?" Maya asked, genuinely curious.